Morning guys, welcome back. Well, we didn't expect this anymore in March here in the Netherlands, but we're not complaining. And obviously this is not weather where you're going to think like, oh, let's go on a backpacking trip. But it might be a perfect time to start thinking about preparation for the next backpacking season. And then I'm not only talking about prepping your own gear and making your trails, deciding on where you would like to go, but I'm also talking about preparation for your dog. And in today's video, I'm going to give you 10 tips that you can do as a preparation for your dog to make him or her ready for the upcoming backpacking season. Tip number 1. Check your dog's gear. You're checking your own gear when the new season's starting, so why not do a check on your dog's gear as well? Check if there are anything that needs to be washed. Check if there are any clips broken, for example, on your dog's harness. Check if your dog is wearing jackets, if there are any holes in it. Stuff like that, and to make sure that everything is ready for the upcoming season so that your dog starts with clean and proper gear to the new season. Number 2. Let your dog getting used to new gear. If you are starting the season with new gear for your dog, make sure that your dog is familiar with this gear. Do some test hikes at home, try it on, see if everything fits properly, adjust everything properly so the fit is good. And if your dog is starting to use new balls, just let them eat out of it, because not every dog likes every material of balls. So be aware of that. There's a snowflake on my nose. Just things like that. And if your dog has a own water bottle, make sure that there is no mold in there and stuff like that. And if your dog needs one, well, let's get a new one. Your dog will obviously not taste the difference if you're just taking water from home, but those are just little things to get your dog used to, and that makes sure that he or her is starting the season with products and gear that he is familiar with and that your dog likes, same as we do. Tip number 3. Let your dog medically checked. If you are in an environment where you can keep hiking the whole year around, like we have here in the Netherlands, not a lot of snow, and most of the year the weather is fine to go on a hike, this might not be that important. But if you are in a country where there is a lot of snow during the whole winter and your dog is in a sort of a winter break and not able to go out on the trail with you, let your dog being checked by the vet to see if everything is fine. Let his heart checked. All those small little things. Your vet will definitely have a general list of things to check for your dog. And then you can make sure that your dog is going healthy and well out on the trail with you again. Number 4. Do some warming up hikes. If you have been in a winter, like I just said, where you couldn't have done a lot of hiking with your dog, then do some decent test hikes before you go out again. Or test hikes, more sort of a warming up hike, so that your dog gets used to hiking again, and sort of a reminder on different terrains that you will be hiking, and let him do some rock scrambling so that he gets used to the feeling underneath the paws and just being out again for a whole day instead of just laying inside, and so that you're all fit to start the new season. Tip number 5. Spend the night in your tent. And then I don't mean go out on a long distance hike and take your tent. No, I just mean put up your tent in your back garden. I always say that word wrong. Put up your tent in your back garden. Go to a campsite nearby. Go to a wild camping spot if wild camping is allowed wherever you live. And do just spend the night in the tent. And of course not in weather like this, because that probably won't be very comfortable for your dog. But when the weather is okay where you are, then just go out, spend the night together, and just do the rituals that you usually have when you're spending the night at camp. Just do them in your back garden. And so your dog will get used to the tent again. Tip number 6. Check the meal box from your dog and prepare it. I have a special box for Ravi where all his backpacking food and treats and everything is stored in. And of course during winter that's not being used a lot, because we will do day hikes, but the weather is not good enough here in the winter to keep backpacking with him. So what I always do at the beginning of the season is go through all his food, see what the expiry date of everything is, if there is anything that has to be replaced. And what I'm also doing is I am searching on the internet for new stuff that is available to buy, and if that is lightweight backpacking food, lightweight treat, freeze-dried things. And there will be a video up about that in about 2 weeks time, so stay tuned for that one. Number 7. Start feeding your trail food in time. If you're feeding your dog other food at the trail than you do at home, like I am with Ravi, then it is always important to get your dog used to that food, because most dogs will react very sensitive if you suddenly switch food out on the trail to food that your dog is not familiar with. And you do not want to end up with a dog who has stomach problems, diarrhea, stuff like that. So if you are using new food out on the trail, start feeding it at home. And it doesn't have to be every day, because he won't be eating that food during the season neither any day. So just give it a few times, see how he reacts to it, and most important, see if your dog likes it. Tip number 8. Make sure that your insurance is checked and up to date. And I don't know how that is in other countries, of course, but here in the Netherlands you have to add your dog to the insurance in case something goes wrong. And it's very important to have checked if your insurance does that have as well. And when you're having a dog for longer, then mostly those things will be fine. It is fine with us as well. There's a wet, snowy Ravi here beside me. Our insurance, we once we got the dog, we add them to the insurance, and they will stay there, and we won't switch insurances. But if you do switch insurances when you get a new dog or something like that, make sure that this is all included in your insurance in case something happens out on the trail. Number 9. Make sure that your dog's passport is filled out properly and is up to date when you're traveling abroad. When we are traveling abroad, for example, Ravi needs to have a rabies vaccination, and that all has to be signed up in his passport. The regular vaccinations has to be in the passport. If we are going to specific countries, there also has to be a health declaration, so to say, that the vet has to fill out, which all has to be included in his passport. So make sure that when you're traveling abroad, that everything is well marked in the passport and your dog is completely up to date, so you will not have any troubles when you are passing a border. And tip number 10, it doesn't fit on the screen, is to make a sort of a be prepared list for your upcoming backpacking trips. So for every trip you have planned, make sure that you know where vets are all around, and make sure they have a contact number about that. So in case something happens on the trail, your dog gets injured, something goes wrong with another dog, which unfortunately always can happen, or just you need a vet in general for medication or something, a pet store, those are always things that I have on the list. So in case I need anything, I know which number I can call, I know where I can go. And if you would like to stay in hotels, cottages, hostels, check in advance if your dog is allowed there. And of course, very welcome, because being allowed and being welcome, that's a totally different thing, at least here in Europe. And make sure that all these things are written out on a list, so you have everything on hand to make sure that your dog is welcome everywhere and that you know where to go in case of an emergency. So these were my 10 tips about preparation for the new backpacking season with your dog. I hope this video was helpful to you. I apologize for a little bit of the bad lighting, but with all the snow coming down, it's a little bit difficult to use the right light, because I was having my ring lamp, my lighting, extra lighting on me, but then it got a really weird sort of a light. So I made the best out of it, and I hope it didn't bother you too much. If you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel, notify the alarm bell, and then as always, enjoy the outdoors. We'll catch you on the next trail. Goodbye!